Okay, I've noticed this really weird thing with sci-fi original movies. When they try to do a science fiction movie, it's normally relatively horrible. When they try to do a horror movie, it again is relatively horrible. When they go medieval, they're actually normally not that bad. Cyclops was pretty good, Fire and Ice was pretty good, so they can actually knock out a decent, like medieval sort of movie. I finally got to see Witchville, and this is essentially a straight by the numbers medieval action movie. Luke Goss, who played Prince Nuwada in Hellboy 2, is again a prince. The king is dead, and he shows up to essentially see what his kingdom's like. King's been overrun by famine. A witch hunter's there, and he's like, "Your problem is you've got witches." Hence the name Witchville. He almost immediately goes off on a quest to find, the village of the witches. Along the way, of course, he has a couple small scuffles here and there. Like most of these movies, he of course runs into people who he has a pretty decent fight sequence with. And then it's like, you guys are good fighters, we're going to fight witches, I'm your king, you want to come with us? And they do. I guess they didn't want to do it with elves, so they have Asians. But they fight relatively well. The choreography is done pretty good for a relatively low budget, medieval flick. And they more or less make it to the witch, the witch village, in literally like the first 40 minutes to an hour of the movie. So halfway through the movie, they've already made it to where they're supposed to go. And then of course fight some of the witches, realize they're kind of outmatched. The Witch Queen shows up and essentially decimates all of them. And I think this is the same woman who was, I think she was in one of the Conan movies. Because I look at her and she looks like one of the evil witches from one of the earlier Conan movies. Of course, she defeats the party relatively easily. They have to retreat, and they're like, all right. They then head back to the kingdom, and they're like, typical rousing speech for the crowd, like, we gotta fight these witches. We don't have any magic. Yeah, but you know what? We have a witch hunter, and we can defeat these witches. The witch hunter has essentially a crossbow that shoots animal fat tip bolts that catch on fire. There's a mechanism that actually lights them on fire. Interesting, to essentially see I hate to say magical, essentially it's like a flaming crossbow. So then you get the ending fight sequence. And they have some small twists and turns that are actually pretty decent. And overall, the fighting is done fairly well. The acting is actually really good for a low-budget, medieval movie. So you have everything you need. You've got decent special effects for low budget when it comes to the magic. Different sort of, they have animal attacks, and one person does a thing that essentially turns, an animal to glass. So you have some decent magic use, a couple of decent, regular-looking animals. Nice fight sequences, and overall a pretty satisfying ending. And that is Witchville. So if you actually like some of the, I hate to say, I'll probably say medium quality medieval movies, Witchville is actually a pretty solid movie, and I do recommend it.